In George R. Martin's Fire and Blood, Rhaenyra is quite a different character than the version we see on the TV show called House of the Dragon. Show Rhaenyra is portrayed as a brave mother who's been wronged by her own family and fighting for what is rightfully hers. In the books, it's not so simple. Fire and Blood isn't written like a normal novel. It's written as an in-universe history text, supposedly compiled by a maester named Gildane, drawing from multiple sources: a court jester, a septa, various nobles, all of whom had their own biases and agendas. Which means the book itself tells you up front, we don't really know what Rhaenyra was thinking or feeling. Everything is filtered through people who may have had reasons to paint her in a bad light. The show's creators have used this as their justification for softening her character. And look, that's a valid creative choice. But here's the thing. Even accounting for biased narrators, the actions Rhaenyra takes in the book are hard to explain away. You can argue about motive all day, but the deeds themselves are on the page. Book Rhaenyra, in her youth, had classic Valyrian looks. Silver gold hair worn in a long braid in the manner of Queen Visenya Targaryen. She was described as a precocious child, bright and bold and beautiful. At 14, Daemon himself declared her the most beautiful maiden in all the Seven Kingdoms. Around the age of 20, after her third pregnancy, Rhaenyra had grown stout and thick of waist and never lost the weight from her pregnancies. The book is pretty blunt about this. It's not a one-off mention. Septon Eustace, admittedly a biased source who favored Aegon II, even claims she became more stout from gluttony during her time ruling King's Landing. One of the most beloved dynamics in House of the Dragon is the friendship between young Rhaenyra and Alicent Hightower. They were childhood best friends, torn apart by politics and marriage. Their relationship is one of the best things about Season 1. In the book, Rhaenyra and Alicent were never close. Alicent is 18 years old when she marries the 29-year-old King Viserys, while Rhaenyra is only 9. They were simply stepmother and stepdaughter, two women on opposite sides of a political rivalry from the very beginning. The show invented that friendship entirely to make Rhaenyra more sympathetic. When you watch her lose Alicent, you feel for her, and this completely reframes who Rhaenyra is. In Season 1 of House of the Dragon, Rhaenyra and Daemon fake Laenor Valyrian's death so he can escape with his lover to live freely across the Narrow Sea, and that moment made Rhaenyra look compassionate and progressive. But that never happens in the book. In Fire and Blood, Laenor Valyrian is murdered, and his death is widely suspected to have been arranged by Rhaenyra and Daemon. Laenor's lover, Qarl Corey, is the one who kills him, and the exact motive remains a mystery. Shortly after, Qarl vanishes completely and is never seen again. Although there was no definitive proof that Rhaenyra was directly behind Laenor's death, she did quickly marry Daemon less than 6 months after Laenor's death, which fueled rumors and public suspicion regarding the circumstances. Now, here's where you might want to skip to avoid getting possible spoilers for future seasons or the books. In Season 2, during the Dance of the Dragons, Rhaenyra recruits dragon seeds, ordinary people who might have enough Valyrian blood to bond with a riderless dragon. One of them is a girl named Nettles, who bonds with a dragon called Sheepstealer through sheer fearless persistence. She also grows close to Daemon Targaryen during the campaign. Following the defection of other dragon riders, Rhaenyra viewed all unproven dragon seeds as existential threats. Fueled by rumors from Mysaria, Rhaenyra believed her husband, Daemon Targaryen, was having an affair with Nettles and was entirely under her spell. Because Nettles was a low-born girl of mysterious origin rather than a recognized noble with pure blood, Rhaenyra convinced herself that the girl had used forbidden spells and sorcery to claim her dragon, Sheepstealer. She then declares Nettles a traitor and orders the lord who is hosting Nettles to break guest right and murder her under his own roof. Guest right is one of the most sacred laws in all of Westeros. Violating it is considered almost a sin against the gods. It's why the Red Wedding was so horrifying, even to people who hated the Starks. Rhaenyra orders it broken because she's enraged. But the Maester informs Daemon about the letter, and he then allows Nettles to escape. But the fact that Rhaenyra was willing to go there tells you exactly who she is in the books. We don't know if that's ever going to happen in the show, since Nettles was cut from the show, and her role's been given to Rhaenyra instead. The showrunners made a choice. They wanted a protagonist you could root for. Martin's Rhaenyra is not a hero, and she's not a villain either. She's what this whole world is built on. A person with ambitions and grievances who, under the pressure of war, becomes capable of terrible things. And that's the whole point.